Hey everybody. It came to me at some point, recognizing that we have actually been all enslaved. And when I talk about that, people really reject it. They don't agree. They don't want to be slaves. Obviously, none of us want to be slaves, but they're just defiant on considering it. And a lot of times, people will say, well, I don't feel like a slave. And it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense because, you go do work, people give you stuff for it. They compensate you for your time. So the prima facie evidence at first glance, it doesn't look like we've been enslaved. Especially if you go to college and school and you get smarter and better and then you make more money doing the things there's in exchange. And the smart guys, those capitalists, the financial folks, they define slavery as when you own or get 100% of somebody's value or somebody's labor. If you get 100% of somebody's value, then per the capitalists and the financial folks, then you're enslaved. And that's a convenient definition because in the employment world, if I pay you money to do a job, or I pay you for something that you do, give you some compensation, it doesn't matter if it's 10% of the value or 90% of the value. As long as you're happy with it, then that's fine. And that's how the employers do it, right? That's how the corporate world does it. If they can get more out of you without you knowing it or you being happy about it, happy about what you got, then everything's fine. When you start to factor in fiat money, fake money, derivative money, then you start to see the slavery. Then it starts to crystallize, and you can use that same capitalistic definition by somebody else gets 100% of your labor. You give your real time. You make real things. You create real stuff. You make real things happen. But the compensation they give you is fiat. It's fake. It is not real. It is not of the same substance. And that fiat fake money they give you, they can manipulate the hell out of it. It ain't worth what it was 2 years ago. It sure as heck isn't worth what it was 20 years ago. You could buy more stuff with that same amount of money. And then when you factor in what happens when you borrow fake money, you give the bank the real stuff first. You gave 100% of the value to the bank first, per the Federal Reserve Act, per their rules. You gave them the stuff first, and then they gave you the thing, or the money, or the car, or the house, or whatever. And that would be an even exchange. But they make you give it all back. They make you pay it all back. So they get more than 100% of your labor. They get more than 100% of your value. You are being exploited, extorted, hijacked. We the people do everything. We make everything. Everything happens because of us. We built the buildings, the roads, we fix the stuff. We provide the stuff to get to point A or point B so they can do stuff with it. We transport it, we move it around, we grow it, we provide it, we distribute it. We do everything. We do all of it. We do all the work, all the labor, and we do not get compensated for it. Not in like kind, not in like terms. We get fiat, and we got to pay the fiat back. All the money you get is from your job was all borrowed. Okay, the compensation you you've been given for your time and your effort is a ticking time bomb. Eventually it's going to be worthless. If you're not investing, if you're not giving the system the money back under their lies and bullshit, you're going to starve. You're going to be poor. You got to keep working. You got to keep going. You got to keep doing stuff, right? You got to, in order to have an easy life, you got to find passive income. You got to find a system, a shtick, a deal that operates on its own, and people do all their own little jobs on their own, and then you reap the profit and the value so that you can take it easy. That's the only way to make it, right? And the financial people know it, and your rich friends know it. How else are we enslaved? Well, our court system is not of the people, for the people, by the people. You go into a court, a state court, there's a man or a woman there that was not elected, was not picked by us, was not voted for. They were picked by somebody else. And they have the power to take all your money, throw you in jail, take your kids away from you, make it difficult for you to ever work again. And there's really nothing you can do about it, as long as you play the game. You don't have a voice. You don't have a voice. And the money's all just a construct. We've been brainwashed by it. We've been brainwashed that everything is answered by more money, by having the money. You can't do anything without more money. I mean, if it's not obvious that they're using the money to like enslave us, why are they constantly charging us for more and more dumb shit? They're condiments at freaking restaurants. They're charging for condiments now, for ketchup and mustard. Water you got to pay for. Just being somewhere you got to pay for. You're always having to pay just to live. You're always having to give up that money. You're always having to give up that money. That's what happiness is. That's what success is, right? And it's just to stay even kill. It's just a status quo. In order to have the minimum things I need, I got to go labor. And you look at this at property tax, right? You want to believe it's a beautiful story that you pay property tax and all of a sudden the kids can go to school. Well, we get the water, okay? It's fiat money. They can make it and create it and do the stuff anytime they want. The fiat money is just to keep us in place. Property tax, just to live on land, just to have a home. You're retired. You've given yourself to the system. You've made other people a lot of money. You still got to pay. I mean, up here in Boulder County, someone's property taxes is $13,000 a year of taxes. And what do you get? The roads? Well, I'll tell you what, we had roads before taxes. We had a lot of stuff before taxes. I mean, you paying money just for them to tell you what to do, just for them to keep stuff from you. You give them money just so they keep you in place. Unless you sell your damn soul. You sell your soul and look good at lying to people, get good at tricking your neighbors, and getting good at telling other people how to fall in line. Well, then you'll be rewarded. Property tax is a tax just to exist. It is slavery on its very definition. It is involuntary servitude. You have to go serve. You do not want to. You have to go make money just to pay somebody who gives you nothing in return, or they'll take it from you, or they'll make you homeless. That is slavery. All the taxes. I mean, they take the taxes before you get your stuff. Before you get your money, they take your taxes. All involuntary. All because you've been tricked. You know how you've been tricked? There's been lots of ways you've been tricked. You've been tricked by TV, obviously, casting, broadcasting, programming. What you know about the police, courts, and government, local government, whatever. What you in your individual capacity know on how all that stuff works, 95% of it came from TV. All those Law and Order shows, the idea that there's a lawyer out there that's sacrificing for the people, Bullshit. No, they're not. They're stacking their pockets. Yeah, I know there's a couple of lawyers out there that had a heart in the beginning, that had a soul in the beginning, that went to law school, found this job where they were really helping the poor people get screwed over. But guess what? They didn't make any money. There's no money in that line of work. So they got sick of busting their ass for nothing. And then they went and worked for the big corporate places. They went and worked for whatever, where they were getting paid big money to do stuff. And all they end up doing is working for corporate world to punish the people, to extort the people. And that's all the rich people do, is get as much out of us as they can. I did the same thing as an engineer. I'm an electrical engineer. I have a master's degree in electrical power systems. I wanted to make renewable energy things for everybody so that people didn't have to be burdened by power, grid power, that they could actually be self-sufficient, that they can make it cheaper, help the environment. But I had a really, really good degree and I wasn't making very good money. And I was sick of it. All my friends had nice things and nicer houses or going on cooler vacations. So I sold out. I went and got myself an electrical engineering job in the oil fields. Good money. Good money. Lots of doing what you're told. Your individuality, your capacity to see problems and fix things that you think is right, that goes away. You follow the rules for that big paycheck. So you got a problem, I'm gonna go through the system, but it's never gonna amount to anything because it doesn't fall in line with the money train. Okay, you don't want to you can't ever get in the way of the money train when you're a high level employee. Okay, that's the whole point. And look at people who become their damn job. You become the company, right? How many of you have sacrificed something because of your job, because of what time you owe corporate America? How many relationships have struggled from that? Relationships with your kids. How many of those have struggled because you've sold out? Right? I mean, I know a ton of guys like that. They're their job. That's all they are. People are only their job. They're good at it. You're good at it. That's why. You have clout. You have respect. You get things done. People treat you like you can get things done. And people like that. People like being useful. And so we get honed in on one really good skill. One really good skill. We're just really good at that, at our job. Sure, there's multiple things to it, but you're good at your one thing, which doesn't really translate to the rest of the world, right? It doesn't translate to community and how to treat other people and your family and your friends. It doesn't breed skill sets that you can take care of yourself, protect yourself, feed yourself, handle situations. No, that's all gone away. Somebody else can do that for you, right? As long as you focus on your one thing, right? Somebody else cleans your house, washes your kids, cleans your car, cleans your clothes, cooks your food, coordinates your travel, your stuff, does your taxes. If there's a problem, you go to somebody. If somebody else does all the other stuff in your world, but you're trained into doing this one really good thing for money. And so that's why we're so attached to it. That's why we need those jobs so much. Not only do they give us that fiat money so that we can live and survive, that's what we're good at. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And since we are so entrenched in that, needing this money to pay our bills, we get blinded by what our job requires of us. And sometimes we don't see it. How awful we allow our corporate machine to treat other people. And it's everywhere. In commerce, it's everywhere. These big corporations hire these young kids, these 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-olds to be the face, the name, the brand of their stuff to sell. And you want to go in there and get the stuff, so you go in there and get the stuff, and then you come back and you realize it's garbage, and you got a problem with it, and you got to come back to talk to some 20-year-old kid. You got nobody to talk to. You can't call them. They've hamstrung all the phone services to put you in a loop, right? Emails. You try to go talk to somebody in person, you might get arrested. We have been enslaved. The entire system, all of it, is a show to get. It's a giant money laundering cartel. All of it, all government, all government, all government. If you think that there is a good aspect to government, it's a front. Everybody you've ever met in government is like, it's a shit show in there. Nobody knows what they're doing. All this bureaucracy. Oh yeah, it's all a big front. We're being hypnotized that we even need them. And again, we already do everything. We already do all this stuff. We already provide all the things. We sell all the things. We already do it. There's just these assholes that control all of it and can keep us from being our own selves, dividing us and conquering us. So what's the answer? How do we become unenslaved? It's really easy. Yes, it has to do with the private express trust. But more importantly, it's recognizing that you don't have to do what anybody tells you to do. Does it mean it's going to be an easy road? No, it's probably going to be harder. But when you get summoned into court, you do not have to go. You are not the thing that they're summoning. You do not have to pay taxes, any of them. They have all the money already. Fiat money is the second thing. It's the derivative. They already have the real thing. And no, it's not the hopes that you're going to pay them back, okay? Every time you borrow money, you are the lowest one on the totem pole. Everybody else in the thing gets paid first. And it's a lot. It's 20 times the money you borrow. You borrow $100,000. Somebody else is moving around $2 million. And you get that $100,000, and as soon as you touch it, you're like, shit, I gotta pay it back. Okay? So you give a note to the system. They give you back fiat, fake fiat. And you get to use that, right? But the real value, they take, and they make themselves rich. They make themselves more powerful. They make their system stronger to keep you from seeing it, just over and over and over. It just gets bigger and stronger and bigger and stronger, and we become less and less powerful. We are the people. We just need to start communicating. We need to get on the same page. We need to stop giving them everything we have. We just give it to them out of lies, out of tricks, out of deceit. It's all, and the worst of it, the people doing the lying honestly don't even know it. There's only a handful of people that really know what's going on. There's a few of us that are waking up and see it, but most folks are just going along with the system, and they don't want anybody to rock the system. They don't want anybody to buck it, you know. I mean, there are people out there whose job is only to get other people to pay and other people to perform, and they intimidate them and scare them into performance and into paying. They spread awfulness for fake fiat money just so they can get their paycheck. They spread awfulness. Then it's all the debt collectors, just about anybody that works in a bank, anybody works in a law office. The entire job is to make somebody else's life harder and more difficult. And it's not even our system. We didn't create it. We, the people, did not create a corporation. So it's time we see it. It's age of Aquarius. It's the age of knowing. It's not the age of following. It's what fish do, Pisces do. They get really good at it. But they don't know. The age of Aquarius is knowing. And it starts with knowing who we are. We are the people. We already do everything. We just got to get on the same page. And we got to stop accepting lies. Yeah. All right. You guys have a wonderful day.